We said we never do it again, but it's a coffee podcast.
We're back at a more ungodly hour than before.
Yeah, it's an early start for us, so excuse the husky voices. You can't see how puffy my face is.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have, well, I'll speak only for myself. I've got a face for radio.
That's
how
why
are you been?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've got my coffee. I can see that you've got something as well.
I've got coffee, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm back in the robe, and I just had to turn off the heating. Yeah, so I'm kind of sweating. It's a bit of a sauna. But, yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, same. I've just been dog sitting for the night. And
what's his name?
Alfie.
Or her name? Alfie. Okay.
Look after Alfie quite a fair bit. So like,
whose dog is it though?
Well, like pals, just people who live down the road from us, and just every now and then, sort of, if they go out for the day where someone's not super happy with them having a dog, or they go like, a little family day out or something like that. Sometimes just ask for a bit of help.
But Alfie is part of the family, though.
I know. It's not really often, but
yeah. I mean, they're not leaving him for like weeks on end.
No. But I like sleep on the sofa when he stays, so that like he's not scratching at our doors or like trying to come into our rooms. Which never is a good night's sleep, because I hear him at like 1 a.m. just giving himself a bath, just licking. But yeah, I think it's better than like him causing havoc in more than just our living room.
Shout out to Alfie.
He's also a great dog. He's a great dog. But yes, I've just been doing that really. It is my nephew's birthday party today.
Hold on. He's 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So obviously it's all not for him at all. It's for us.
I was just about to say he's never going to remember this.
But yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah. But how about you? How are you? What have you been up to?
What have I been doing? Oh God, I'm so bad at this question. What have I been doing? Oh, yesterday we went out to go looking for keyboards. It's like, yeah, I know Mr. Big's trying to like...
As in piano?
Yeah, not for me. Mr. Big's been on this hunt for a keyboard.
I didn't know he could play.
No, he can't really. He wants to learn.
Really spat my coffee out.
Yeah. So his hobby is like make music on the computer and stuff. And he has like bits and bobs. And we got the speakers set up in the living room. And he wants to add to the setup. That's basically what this is.
With some DJ.
Yeah. Oh, that DJ.
For anyone who didn't know, that was like our school just had these keyboards where we just spent the entire class pressing the DJ button at the most annoying time for our teacher talking. And making like, with like every key like has a different like track.
Yeah, or
and
like
you
sound
make
effects.
Like your own sort of like sound effect song, and they're shocking.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mr. Big does much better than that.
Oh, wow. That was a throwback memory.
I know.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, we popped into Central. Well, I say popped in, but it's never really a pop-in thing, is it? And then I got bored. I started getting really bored, to be honest.
Well,
and so I went
shopping for you.
Yeah.
Are you still on your shopping ban? We haven't touched base on that for a little while.
I bought something. Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Let's not discuss this in this episode.
Dark times.
It is. We're all just trying to survive, really.
Whatever keeps you going.
Yeah. So I did go into Liberties and see what was going on there.
Nice.
Going on. And Loewe's got these like candles, because they're all about like craft.
They
have lots of crafty stuff.
Ooh.
They have candles now and they smell so nice.
Oh, I wasn't sure where you were going to take that. Okay,
No, they
good.
smell good. Yeah, I want
You'd
one, but
expect them to, but are they like hella expensive?
I couldn't find, well, I couldn't find the price tag on these things, so that's
Which
saying
means
something.
yes.
But then I Googled the candles to see how much they were, and they said they were £65, but I didn't know if that was for the small one,
That
like the
I bet
one
that's
wick
for like,
one.
yeah, for the like tiny, but also not even like I think it's 190 that's like I think
Mm,
the base sort of like that'll be for probably like the 90-gram one or something like that, which
yeah,
is the
yeah,
travel size. Ugh,
yeah. So, but they have really cute containers that they come in. They are like these handmade
I'm just
clay
looking at them now.
pots, really cute, different colors, and they're all different scents. And they've got a big version. And this was like, it's like
Mm.
things like that to have in your home is like hashtag aspirational.
Yeah. Oh no, they're really
Yep.
nice. And
Mm,
like the kind of I feel like what you expect from a luxury candle is to be able to keep the pot afterwards.
yep, for sure.
And you either use it for makeup brushes, for pens and pencils,
Mm.
like
Or you just,
whatever your heart
you
desires, or
never burn the
decorative.
candle.
Yeah. I know I've often like been to people's houses though where like there's one lady in particular and she's got like one of those giant like white company candles and I'm talking
Mm.
like it's got to have
Like 4 wicks in it.
more than 5 wicks I reckon like
What?
it's literally like
Where'd you put that thing?
it's on her mantle like her fireplace mantle but you can tell she's not touched it and that thing will be like 200 plus pounds.
That's not
I'm
even that bad when we consider like fancy candles, because
like
Diptyque is
I'm
selling like
judging it by like Joe Malone or well no the Diptyque big candles what
they're more expensive. They're like £500.
maybe but yeah I don't think the white company maybe is there but anyway like
Mm,
that's you got to touch that thing like
yeah, you
it
got to
should have
use
some
it.
good yeah it just
Mm,
looks like a giant like bucket on her mantle
yeah, that's true.
but each
Oh,
but I'm also a big believer and we always can learn a lesson from Kim Kardashian everyone I might sound
okay.
like I'm obsessed with the Kardashians but I'm not.
You're not, yeah.
But one of the most famous episodes is when she's crying in the sea over her
Diamond
lost diamond
earring.
earring.
Mm,
And don't get me
classic.
wrong, I'd be gutted if I lost a diamond earring.
Mm,
But I'm also a big believer is that you shouldn't own things that you aren't devastated to use and
mm,
you got to take pleasure in your items like if you've got a designer handbag use it don't put
yeah,
it like somewhere that you're gonna like touch it with a tissue like I just think things are
yeah,
worth
that's
using you can
true.
look after your things but like
I
things
think
are for using
people probably buy things to, like, you know how you get people online who are like, this is my wardrobe or my
for
closet tour or whatever,
status
and
yeah
then they have all their bags lined up on this half empty shelf to be like, here's, I own a Chanel,
yeah
and you're like, where do you use that?
yeah no
um
exactly
I feel the same way. Yeah, yeah, diamond. I mean, we could have an episode about diamonds, only because, have you seen on Netflix there is a show called like Bad Boy Billionaires or something like that? It's a new
I
series.
have. I'm not sure how I feel about watching it.
Oh, it's great. I loved it. It was I love stuff like that. And this one was set in India, but it's not about the show, but I've seen a number of documentaries and like investigative programs to know that diamonds are just not as rare as we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
make them out to be.
And actually, there's like a lot of sort of like drama around how they're mined, the ethics behind
Yeah, yeah.
diamonds.
I mean, there's a lot of like questionable ethics around mining in general,
Yeah.
but diamonds is just, it's because their price is just so incredibly inflated that it
Mm,
becomes like more interesting, I suppose, for
yeah.
Joe blogs. Anyway, fashion story.
A fashion story. Do you want to go first?
Oh, I was going to ask you to go first.
Oh, sure. So mine this week is more of a calling to attention for the fashion industry. So as we all know, like I think it's like the G7 summit happens. I think it happened maybe last year or the year before. And this is where like countries pledge to be more eco-friendly, more sustainable, all of that stuff by X. And I just like the beauty industry is really upping its game at the moment. Like, I just feel like there's a real, we're tackling the animal cruelty that's like essential now, and kind of like just people won't accept that their products are tested on animals especially if they know about it. It's obviously sometimes you have to research to know about it, but it's getting more transparent these days. If you buy high street, if you buy whatever, like you have that list of ingredients, you have all of like the no harsh chemicals, like 100% vegan, whatever, like all of that stuff. And like I think because fashion just doesn't come in this packaging, we just don't ask the same questions, because it's literally doesn't come in a box saying this was made by a 7-year-old like in a factory in Bangladesh who didn't get to eat that day, or I don't know.
Yeah. Doesn't come with a warning label or any sort of like self-governing kind of stickers or, you know, list of ingredients or whatever that kind of encourages the brand to be better and do better.
And for the consumer to kind of make some like maybe like wiser or more educated or informed decisions. Because I saw a picture of a kid who was like, I guess in a factory somewhere making face masks. And it's like, all well and good, we've all been told to wear a face mask, and I've been wearing reusable ones just so I'm not using one-use ones only, because I knew we were going to be doing this for a while. But like still in hospitals they have to obviously wear disposable ones. And it's, where do these £1 face masks get made?
Yeah. That's actually funny that you've brought this up, because I came across an article on Business of Fashion, and its title is "Will Self-Regulation Solve Fashion's Sustainability Problem?" And maybe many people don't know this, but within the EU, for cosmetics, beauty, you can't actually test on animals. And the reasoning is that we have like 100 odd years worth of scientific information about different ingredients and what they do and how to put them together. We have a wealth of knowledge that we no longer need to test these compounds and things on animals for cosmetics, vanity purposes only. So within the EU, it's outlawed in a sense. And we say that you can't do it. The thing is, when it cruelty-free comes in regarding beauty, is that brands that operate in certain markets are required to test on animals. So like, I think China actually says you have to test on animals to make, so that we know if it's safe enough, you know, for human consumption. So it's, I guess, a choice for a brand to be like, okay, we're just not going to sell there so that we can retain a level of respect in our other markets, or retain this kind of selling point. I say all that to say that in terms of beauty, just speaking for the EU, I think in America, I don't know if they have that same sort of law, but it's easy for the beauty industry to just not be part of that, because it's been regulated and there's laws in place to say like, this is what we can do. But with fashion,
there's more factories for beauty in the EU as well. Like from what I understand, like beauty and cosmetics does maybe get made like more in Europe than sort of clothing.
But I mean, even when we look at brands that tout being handmade, especially like leather goods, so we talk about like Hermes bags, or we talk about, I think LVMH bought a few factories in Italy, tanning factories not long ago. I mean, the price at which they sell their products doesn't exactly mean that they can't afford to manufacture within
Yeah.
Europe or places that, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still manufacture in Europe and still exploit people. But yeah, I know what you mean, because they're manufacturing all over. It's hard for any one government to regulate them. But maybe there needs, I mean, we've touched on this before. It's like, if particular governments overseas don't, actually
Or they
enforce the
turn a
laws,
blind eye,
then
because isn't it like after the Bangladesh factory thing, there's been laws in place as to like health and safety regulations. But I think, as we talked in our fast fashion episode, like some people turn a blind eye to that.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
you can't, like, I mean, the not to be political, the US is a large enough country to govern, like, you can't govern the entire world with regulations, I guess.
Or maybe it's like they just have on their website, you know how in the EU now we have like the gender pay gap that has to be every
Yeah,
year has to be kind of put out there. And then there's also the modern day slavery one. Maybe it's the fact of like them saying 80% of our garments are made blah 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 blah. And I don't know, they don't want to give away how much they're paying to manufacture
yeah,
each item, but maybe there's a way around it for them to like make a
a
declaration every
transparency,
year.
yeah, because I think that's the difference with beauty, is that it's on the bottle. It's all got to be on the bottle. We've got to know what's gone into it. We've got to know.
I mean, we don't know who's making it
No, that's
necessarily.
true, but just from an eco standpoint, it's helping, and
Yeah,
like, because the carbon footprint and all this sort of carbon neutral stuff, like
yeah, fashion could do
fast
more.
fashion just can't buy into that right now. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think more companies could definitely do more to make sure, like, our materials are made from 90% recycled fabrics. Like, you
yeah,
know, we could do so much better in terms of recycling fabrics.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm.
What was your fashion
Well, my
story?
one was just a bit of like a reminder to people. More, less of a story. My sister actually, shout out to my sister.
Wee.
Um, she actually showed me this article. I'm a little bit late on reporting it, but it's just so like, it just reminds you of how some people's perception of beauty is just so stupid. So anyway, let me just get into the story really quickly. Kiko, Kiko Milano, the beauty, we're talking about
Yeah.
beauty again, the like Italian cosmetics brand. They had a campaign and they obviously reached out to a modeling casting agency. And in this email that was sent to, Nylon, like the online publication,
Mm-hmm.
in this email, they were saying, this is the sort of model we're looking for this campaign. And in a number of occasions in this email, and once in particular, it was in capital letters,
Oh my
it was like,
gosh.
no ethnics, no ethnics, no ethnics in this email. They were adamant that they were
Wow.
not going to have ethnics in this. And you might think maybe their campaign is like
We brought out
inspired
three
by,
male shades.
yeah, or it's inspired by the Romanovs. So they have to have Russian looking women or
No,
something.
no, 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 no.
No, it's not. Because, and this is the reminder to people that when we talk about diversity, this is what we mean. Like, in part of the email, they go, quote, universal beauty, not ethnic. So it's the equation between someone being desirable internationally, but just not being anything other than white. And when you consider that most of the world's population is not white, it's ridiculous to think that you cannot be desirable to, if you're Indian, if you are, I don't know,
Middle
Native
Eastern,
American or Native
Mediterranean,
Australian, or or African, or part of any
got a little
other,
something, a little something, a
a
little
little
cocktail.
something,
Yeah.
exactly, that you cannot be understood or perceived as beautiful.
I mean, the
Is
wildest thing is, if you're a beauty company, it's actually arguably more important to show that you can cater
yeah,
for diversity, because Lord knows there's enough foundation for white people out there and beauty products. So why don't you like reiterate to, like you said, the majority of the world is not white? Why don't you reiterate your message that you have found the right contour shade for someone with a darker skin tone or with an Asian skin tone or whatever it might be, like that you've done that rather than catering to what is oversaturated.
yeah.
And also like, I mean, I could go on and on about foundation shades and just how
it's ridiculous. I think for so long that beauty companies have got away with pushing this narrow sense of beauty, because I mean it's been pushed on the world's population for centuries. But right now it's just ridiculous, really. And this is just a
not good
reminder for
enough.
people that this is what we talk about when So Kiko, I mean, thank God that people know about this now, because there are so many like smaller up and coming brands that are, really breaking the mold and doing great things, and they should have some of the market share. Let's not buy Kiko or buy
that's
something
crazy.
else.
I guess that the main difficult thing is that the perception of beauty is different in every country. So like here loads of people want to like fake tan potentially to like look like they've been on holiday, or they feel nicer that way. Like over in like sort of China, Japan, paler skin is more beautiful, and actually in like the Middle East and lots of places paler skin is more beautiful. So it's sort of, I get that in some regard that there's a difficulty, but you can still represent races and stuff like that. Like I saw a Dior beauty campaign the other day on Instagram, and it had a black girl, it had Bella Hadid, it had like an Asian girl, like a and then another white girl, but they had made the Asian girl look so pale that she just looked like a black girl and three white girls. And I was like, why wouldn't you just embrace like this, or like why have you got basically like three of the exact same skin tone, like you've probably used the same foundation shade on all of them, and then like one black girl, like that doesn't count. It like, I don't know, I just think like there's a diversity lack sometimes of just
I think that sometimes beauty companies feel like they, not in a case of Kiko, but they, because lighter skin is kind of widely seen as more desirable in parts of Asia, that they want to play into it enough to be a product that people want to buy into.
But then have like an olive toned white person,
girl on the campaign.
Like then
you know what I mean?
Then choose like an olive toned white girl, or have like a Mediterranean
but then that's not
person.
white enough.
No, but like if they want to have the Asian person looking white, like then let's not have two like ghostly white girls as well.
That's
on it.
True.
Like,
that's the point. Anyway, we're going down like a rabbit hole.
Yeah. We interrupt this broadcast to remind you, go follow us on Instagram, Style Over Substance Pod. Shoot us an email, styleoversubstancepeak@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube, find us on Twitter. We've got all the links on our Instagram. You know what to do. This this week we have got a Mim story time.
Yeah. Yeah, this story time actually takes me back a while. And it's like, this is gonna sound weird, but it's about kinks and shopping. And
Okay.
yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. So years ago, I used to
Miranda
work
always sets the
in
scene really well.
I used to work in a lingerie store. And I've spoken about lingerie stories in the past before because they just produce the best content. Like, working in a lingerie store is wild sometimes, just by the sorts of people who come in. And the brand that I worked for as well was very much about the kink and kind of this old school burlesque vibe. So I guess it attracted people who wanted to buy into that image but weren't like actually hardcore BDSM or like some real sexy people.
So would they come into the store quite sheepish? A few people, would you have like a whole range of the sheepish coming in, head down to the merchandise, and then the person who's there like, yeah, I just like love my body and want to show it off?
So yeah. Our customers really did run the gamut, to be honest. Anyway, so yeah, I just have like a few tales of some exceptionally like funny or like kinky kind of.
Amazing.
Yeah, so first one, I remember it was like the evening. So in the summer months, the store used to open until, God, I think it was like 12 a.m. because it was located like on the seafront. So there was
I was going to
always
say,
traffic.
this is when you were abroad, right?
This is when I was in Spain. And the location of the store was on the seafront. So there were always like tourists who were having dinner, going out for drinks. And obviously when people drink, that's like the ripe moment to get their money. So yeah, it was quite late. And there were loads of people in the store though. There was, okay, not loads, but there were a few customers
for
in the
the
store.
time. It's
exactly. For England, this would be unusual. But shout out to any of you who's like lived and worked abroad. To be out late when it's hot is obviously really normal. So this guy comes in the store and I can just remember he was like dressed in heels and things, cool.
Okay, sass. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what he was wearing. And apologies if, he doesn't identify as a he. But, sake of me giving you
the context.
Context. Yeah, so he came in and he was kind of sheepish, actually. I remember. And I didn't serve him. My colleague approached him and served him. But he was like walking around and just like seeing what we had. But again, not trying to draw attention to himself. Yeah. Anyway, she approaches him and in a really like low voice and like calm and secretive, he was referring to someone else who wasn't actually in the shop, and it was his master. So the master or my master would like something with leather and lace, and he was like describing all the things that his master, like, I don't know if this person existed or it was actually like a submissive dominant relationship that he actually had, and his master just happened to be elsewhere at the moment. But he was describing to my colleague in a low voice all the aspects that this like bra, knickers and suspender set needed.
Oh my gosh. Surely the my master thing only provides kink.
Walking around the shop, looking at the displays.
Like if you're together. So yeah, surely like the my master thing only provides kink when you're together.
See, I think so, but at the same
time,
it's
some like you said, some real submissive relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So now maybe people are going to start like contacting us about that's
Like,
not how it works.
yeah,
But
we don't
I
know.
think, yeah, we don't
like,
we don't know.
dude, I'm like chalk. I'm boring as hell. Like,
uh,
I haven't got a master, so
yeah.
I don't know
I
how that works.
I think people appreciate being dominated over.
Hmm.
And so maybe that's what this customer was enjoying the thrill of.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe he'd come in with his master's card. Maybe he wasn't even paying for it.
Mm.
And so there was an element, or maybe he was forced to pay. It was interesting because it was not just like, I do BDSM and I have this submissive, dominant relationship, and this is what we do, and I'm here to look for something. The person was role playing in the store
Without the other person. And like you said, there may not have been, and maybe that was their thrill.
Yeah.
Talk like that and have this risky experience inside the store. And are you taught what to do in that situation in the shop?
I think the risk is part of the thrill, which reminds me of something else, actually. But at the moment, I'm watching The Haunting of Bly Manor or something. It's called something like that on Netflix. And there's a little girl and she sees like when people come in pretending to, to be referring to someone else, it's a bit haunting.
Mm.
So yeah, I just remember that. Yeah, like don't go shopping to get turned on at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky one because the nature of the products in the store are to like cater for everyone's like adventurous sides or loads of things. But yeah, there's something kind of like there's also someone serving you and and they're not in on this, and that's like a bit like I don't know. I don't know how I probably would just be like gobsmacked. Like if someone spoke to me like that, I just kind of probably like be stunned a little and just kind of my customer face would probably drop a little bit. I probably wouldn't be like, yeah, sure. And how many like I don't think I'd have that sort of like I'll get that.
You'd have to be super professional. Yeah. So my colleague was just like, okay. She was like doing that. Imitating his voice. Okay, I can get that for you. And she would just like scurry off or like pull things out of the drawer and like grab stuff from the back. And because obviously you're thinking, I'm going to bag a sale, like a good one.
And did he purchase? Yeah.
I think so, from what I remember. But this was a good number of years ago. But I'm pretty sure he did get some stuff. And I hope his master is happy.
Hey,
had a whale of a time.
A wild
but
time.
That reminds me what you were saying of like there's a limit to what you should be doing in store, because that guy, he was just talking, he wasn't actually inappropriate or said anything explicit. It was just kind of like unusual for a lot of people.
You weren't expecting it, you caught off your guard a little bit, like you said. Nothing offensive, and like also what he's saying doesn't affect anybody other than himself.
Exactly. But there are couples, cheeky, and you know who you are, who so like the woman will come in the store with her husband or a boyfriend or whatever, and the husband will be like, oh, I like that, and you're like, yeah, cool, it's beautiful, yeah, I'll get her size and whatever. She goes into the fitting room, you help her with whatever she needs, and then you obviously like give the customer time to kind of like assess it in private themselves, or we'd be like, oh, do you want to come in the fitting room and have a look, sir? So the guy who's with her, yeah, all of that. So they, on a number of occasions, would go in the change room and you'd give them their space. But sometimes they were like trying it on a bit too much. And you're like, I need to break this up somehow.
What, as in they're having some physical moments?
Yeah. Or they're getting a bit too excited.
Oh my God.
And you're thinking, I bloody hope she kept her knickers on while she got in that bikini. Or like, you don't want any like hanky panky in the fitting room. So you would have to be like, would you like any help in there? Like, or that sounds weird. Hold on. The wording of that was wrong.
Do you need another size? Like,
yeah. Is everything okay? I mean, that's a bit more like, what the fuck are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say, do you need a third person?
We're not that kind of store.
But yeah, so you would try and get their attention. And most people get sheepish enough for the guy to actually leave soon after. So yeah, that used to happen. And that is more like, now when they leave, if they don't buy stuff, because this used to happen as well, if they don't buy it, I gotta go and pick this shit up off the hook or the hanger or the floor even.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
also, that's like, I think that's, I don't know, it's really hard because you obviously can't force people to buy things, but there's got to be a level of decorum of like, if that's good enough, and like we've mentioned it before, it's a like, this is a premium label you're talking about. You know, you're not going in there and like, it's going to be an expensive item if you're trying it on. So you know what you're like walking into. So don't get some hanky panky or get frisky or like turn your husband on or your significant other. And then like, that's done it. And you guys are in the mood and you can just leave. Like, it's not that kind of a store. Go to Ann Summers.
Yeah. And also, I should have also mentioned that, say if you were a couple, like either we knew you as clients and we knew that you were big spenders, or we were trying to like romance you into buying stuff, we would pull out the Prosecco. So if it was like a couple, we would like pour a glass for them each, and then couples would
special occasion.
Yeah, Brits are the worst. Actually, don't trust a Brit on holiday in a fancy store. Would start feeling special, or feeling like, as you said, a special occasion, or you know, getting in the mood. You know, a couple glasses of Prosecco, some lingerie, and then they just like hop to their hotel. No, I'm not here to like help you in foreplay. It's a bit
your aphrodisiac.
Yeah. Oh god. So that is something that happens. Okay, so another story is this guy, I don't know what country he came from or anything like that, but I can't remember if I think he came in with another woman. Now, we couldn't tell if this was someone's wife, someone's girlfriend, like a sex worker. Maybe they just met that. So he walks into the store, yeah, and he's like adamant, like positively adamant that he has bought from us this 18 karat gold dildo. And like, we don't know where he's getting this from, because we don't sell anything like that. Like, we sell gold plated handcuffs and like chokers and like tassels and like whips and things like that, but listen, it's nothing hardcore. So we're like, no, you're mistaken, sir, like we don't sell anything like that, the brand doesn't. Anyway, he is positive and like adamant that it was mad. But listen, shout out if you own something like that. Is that a thing? Just makes me think like, how the other half live. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was another guy. I know. So anyway, that was all the stories that are like particularly kinky that spring to mind. Oh god.
Amazing.
But definitely the worst is like the couples who used to go into the changing room together.
And I feel like I've heard you say before as well that like they would just be kind of saying sort of like filthy stuff to each other in the shop, or like getting a bit excited and a bit like you kind of hear it going on and you're kind of like, guys, like I know it's a lingerie shop, but like I'm also not here with my partner. I'm serving you. Like you can hold your frisk till you get out the door.
Yeah, exactly. There is a really fine line when you work in the store and your uniform is a certain way. It's a
Mhm.
bit more revealing than most uniforms, or like the image that we project about the store and the brand is a certain way. And actually demanding respect in the store for the people who work there and for like the other customers. But for people who don't shop there regularly are the ones who kind of interpret it the wrong way.
Yeah, get a bit overexcited,
But
a bit
most people
giddy.
were just like funny and a bit like a whale of a time. Some people were dodgy, but yeah, just those are my kink stories.
Oh la la, kink kink.
Mm.
You were fab. Love a bit of kink.
Yeah. Have you ever had have you ever had an experience like that? Like as an accessories designer, being asked to design something that was out of the ordinary, or any requests that people were trying to put through? Because you used to do customer requests as well, didn't you? To some extent.
Yeah, but I don't, none of them were of like that kind of nature. It would more be trying to make sure they weren't like garish or off brand. It was much less so like kinky or whatever. Um yeah, it was much more sort of like gowns, like custom gowns that the department did, and I kind of did the accessories. And sadly, none of those were like nipple tassels or anything like that.
Mm.
So,
Oh,
but I've
love a nipple
always been
tassel.
fascinated by like lingerie. I think that, like, there was definitely a point where I was quite interested in going into designing it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very niche, and I kind of didn't
Mm-hmm.
didn't know where that would really take me. But I find it really interesting. It's a whole different like ball game of totally different mix of fabrics. I mean, obviously boobs are boobs, but like you can create different
Mm.
shapes with bras depending on the way the seams are, if they're padded or not padded. Like there's
Yeah.
all that kind of a thing. And being somebody who struggles to find bras in like regular
And
shops,
it's
it's
definitely like
something that,
a subculture. You can get sucked in to the whole world of lingerie.
mm,
We worked there. Some of the stuff I just found normal.
yeah,
Like an ouvert is a knicker that has a hole in it, you know? I
mm.
was just like, yeah, this is like everyone needs one. What are you talking about? I
Yeah,
think things like
yeah,
that just
yeah.
become like every day.
I think that happens in sort of any job. You kind of accustom yourself to whatever the environment is, and like I guess whether it's that then
Mm.
you're less prudish towards that stuff. It can't be a bad thing, like and all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm a big fan of fun lingerie. I think it's a really fun market, and I feel like there's so
Mm.
much, like there's like big names in it, but there's so much room, like, and it's quite easy to celebrate sort of more independent shops as well. um
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I sadly never had to design anything like that, but never say never. Maybe
Yeah,
my
your time will come.
maybe I'll branch out into lingerie. Who knows?
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
crikey.
that is what, episode 17, something like
Episode
that.
17.
Yeah. And thanks for listening for another week, guys. Thanks for the support and the love. Remember to rate us on Apple Podcasts and wherever you're listening to us right now. 5-star reviews. Um, Email us with any of your stories as well. We'd love to read them out during our Storytime weeks. And as always, I've been Mim.
I've been Scarlett.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.